Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this morning's webinar, which is really aimed at showcasing our launch of the ReportAdapter for SmartPlant Foundation. As usual, we've got starting off with an agenda. I'm giving the brief introduction right now. We're then going to go through a technical overview, and I'm going to hand over to my colleague at that point, Siegfried Schott, who is the product manager and senior consultant. So he's going to do all the hard work and go through and show you a little bit more about what Universal Reporter does, the ReportAdapter itself, and various different aspects of that. We're then going to hand back to me for the summary, go through a few quick poll surveys, and then we'll answer any questions that you have. So please feel free to enter questions in the question panel of the session. We'll save those up until the end, and then we'll go through as many as we can. We are recording the session. What typically happens is you get an email in about 2 days' time with a link where you can then view, and you just need to register and view it. So you'll be able to catch up with that. Okay, so just moving on. What I wanted to do was just set the scene around where this ReportAdapter fits in. So you may or may not be familiar with both of our Application Reporter and Universal Reporter. But these are environments that really give you a simple method of reporting across all of the different applications. So as you can see, there are a number of applications that are supported down the left-hand side, covering P&ID, SmartPlant 3D, instrumentation, electrical, and now SmartPlant Foundation. This is really what we're concentrating on today. So we'll be showing you the Universal Reporter with the SmartPlant Foundation ReportAdapter. The reports themselves come out in Excel format, and Ziggy will explain more as we go through. So without too much more, I'm going to hand over to Siegfried so that he can take you through the rest of it. Okay, over to you.
So, hello everybody. So today I want to show you a little bit about Universal Reporter and the Foundation Adapter. So first I show you the test model so you could see what we are talking about. I also open the correlated PID. So as you see, not everything is correlated correctly, so I could explain a little bit the differences using our adapters. Okay, before we came to the Foundation Adapter, I first show you a little bit about Universal Reporter. I've just prepared one database extracted by the still existing P&ID adapter. So all data extracted from adapters are stored in MDB files. Just open one. So that's what the Universal Reporter displays when you open a reported database. You got 3 panels. On the left side you see the different tasks. So for example, the inline component run, P runs, so you see the different pipelines here, or the equipment nozzle task. So I hide all the attributes. So in the second pane you see all the attributes. So let's click on equipment item tag, and you see there are 3 different equipments in our task. Then when I click on nozzle item tag, you see on the right side the report expanding. This is because we have a so-called auto group feature. If we only select the equipment name, it collapses that only one line per equipment is shown. If you add the nozzles, it's each combination. So you see the first equipment has 4 nozzles, second equipment has 4 nozzles, and third equipment, this was the little pump, had only 2 nozzles. Okay, you could also select the count column. Then you would see how much nozzle each equipment has. So it's very easy to handle. So to do a first comparison, I open another reported database. It's from SmartPlant 3D. It looks nearly the same. As you could see, 3D has some more attributes which could be reported. There are even more, but I restricted the attributes, so it's a little bit faster. And now what we can do, we can set it side by side. And with Universal Reporter, you could link different databases against each other. To do this, just click on one task from one database and drag and drop it to the other database. So then you can give it a more useful name. Let's do it here. Then there are 2 links predefined. So we deliver a lot of predefined links for nearly each useful combination of the different databases. I select I want to see all the rows from both tables. Click OK. And now a new window opens, a so-called multi-window. And I hide all the attributes and just show the pit equipment, show the equipment in 3D. And here you could see that 2 equipments share the same name, while the third equipment seem to have a different name in P&ID and 3D. And now let's have a look on the foundation database, because in the foundation database there might be more information about what's happened here. So I close those 2 projects. Close Universal Reporter and open the Foundation ReportAdapter. Okay, that's what the Foundation ReportAdapter looks like. Let's have a short run through the menus. With File, Save Settings, Load Settings, I think that's obvious. You can store settings and load it back if you have done some configuration before. Saves you work to do it another time. In Tools, you can configure attributes. That's the most important task to do in the adapter. So it starts up. So on the left side, you will see all the available attributes. And on the right side, you see the attributes I've selected for my report. So our Foundation ReportAdapter relies on the Intergraph standard data structure. That means the relations between equipment, nozzles, and components. We recommend to use the standard Intergraph data model, but if you add additional interfaces and attributes, this is no problem, because the ReportAdapter, when you open this configuration, it goes directly into the database and reads out all the available attributes and interfaces, and you can select your own attributes if you have defined some. Okay, that's the attribute configuration. You can add additional SQL statements after extraction. For example, if you want to have one additional column which concatenates 2 other columns or do some transformations, you can do it here. And there is a settings dialog which you can define where your configuration file is stored, and you can add manual extraction info, which is just the information about a revision number or some comments to your database. And here is the database connection. We use Oracle. You need one user which has reading access to the foundation database to read out the data. Okay, here if you store more than one plant in your foundation database, you can select the plant here. Here you can define your output path. So as you might know, foundation stores the date of each data even if it's deleted. So if you want to extract it at a specific time, you can select a specific time here, and you get out the data of foundation which were valid at exactly this time and date. Or if you deselect it, it uses the current time and date. You can select if you want to extract the shared task, so I would explain it later and let it selected. If you've done all your settings, click on extract and extraction will run. So I go back to Universal. Open the foundation database. Okay, so here you see the different tasks. So we've extracted the P&ID, the equipment task from the P&ID domain, the piping task from the P&ID domain, the equipment task from the SP3D domain, piping task from the SP3D domain, and the according shared tasks. And now let's see what we can do with the data. So I switch to the equipment task. So I select my drawing name, select the equipment name and the nozzle name. So because there's more data stored in the foundation database than just my example, I restrict this drawing to my test P&ID. And here we see the data. Okay, we could do the same for the 3D task. And now let's have a look on the shared equipment task, because this is the most interesting task. As you might know, Foundation has a so-called shared domain which didn't store data directly, but is a link which links all the other domains together. And so we can see the equipment name, name application, nozzle name. So I select all of those. And because I know my equipment name starts with 21.-8, I restrict it to my equipment. So what can you see here? You can see the name of the equipment, and you can see in which domain this name is used. So for the last two equipments, the name is same in SmartPlant P&ID and SmartPlant 3D, but for this equipment, the name seemed to be changed in SmartPlant P&ID and published again, so only P&ID currently holds the correct value. So for the nozzle names, they seem to be equal in both domains. And for the nominal diameter, it seemed to be that 4 of those nozzles have different diameters and published out of SmartPlant 3D, which was the task last published. So to figure out what's happened here, I do the same thing as I did with a P&ID and 3D database. I drag and drop this shared equipment task to the P&ID task, give it a name, SH for shared, PI for P&ID. So here I've only one link I can select. Click on OK. Get another multi-window. So I select the name, the nozzle name, the name of the share task, nozzle name of the share task, diameter, so the diameter application, and oh, I missed something, so let's go back. So I want to have also the diameter, and let's do it again. Okay. So, and now I can go to the multi-window, name, nozzle name, diameter application, and then I can also display the diameter of the P&ID domain. I restrict it to my equipment. Okay. So here you can see that for those two nozzles, the nominal diameter, which is stored in Foundation, isn't existing in P&ID, so that's the reason why SmartPlant 3D published those two nozzle diameters. And for whatever reason, those two nozzles are changed against the P&ID. Maybe they were on hold on the P&ID, and the 3D designer has newer information and changed the nozzle. So we don't know. So that's about the Foundation adapter, and now I want you to show one other cool feature. Let's assume you go to the 3D model, click on the equipment, this one, because this one is the one which had a different name between 2D and 3D. Let's update it here. And let's publish the data again. So I've still prepared this. And once again, I open the P&ID database. And then I open the 3D data again. Set it side by side. Okay. For the P&ID data, I've additionally selected the SPID of the nozzle. And that's so once again I did the multi-window, rename it, nozzle list. Okay. So here I have my multi-window. So I select from the PID the equipment item tag, nozzle item tag, the nozzle nominal diameter. I select the nominal diameter out of the 3D. So here you can see that even the name in the 3D has changed. That's all I had done. And I select the nozzle SPID. Now I create a report out of those data. I use a template file for this. Create the report. And show the report. It's a simple Excel file. So now you can see I've simply done a conditional formatting on those lines which had different nominal diameters in P&ID and 3D. So I see here in P&ID there's still no nominal diameter existing, so I just select those two from the 3D and drag and drop it to here. And then I had a view in my documentation and found, okay, this is correct in P&ID, but this one 3D was right, so I drag and drop also this one. Store my report, go back to the Universal Reporter, click on P&ID data, and then say Tool, Import from Excel. Select the just created and changed report file. Open it. That's okay. So I say my key column is a nozzle SP P&ID, and I want to update the nominal diameter with the changed values. Click on OK. So, and now you could see that there is the color changed in the nominal diameter column because I've updated those three values. And you also have an old value column where you can see what the value before was. You can show and hide it here. And then you could go to P&ID and write those changes back to SmartPlant P&ID, publish your P&ID again, and you're fine. Okay. Thank you for listening, and I give it back to Andy.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Siegfried. Hopefully that was clear to everybody. Just wanted to go over one of the points that Siegfried was making, which, if we come back to our view of the Universal Reporter, you actually saw him taking the values from the 3D and then writing those, or copying them over to the P&ID report and then writing those changes back. And what I didn't explain is that in terms of the report adapters that we have report adapters which allow this one-way reporting out so that we can get the reports into Excel. The second type of adapter, which is not available for every application, allows you to write data back to the application itself. And that was exactly what Siegfried was showing there. Okay, so moving on from that, just really to summarize, so what you should be able to do within Universal Reporter is create fast and simple reports, which can be, they can be very simple, they can be very complex, the reports. We allow the comparisons of data differences between two dates. We allow composite reports across multiple applications. As you can see, you get simple and effective reporting from SmartPlant Foundation. An ability to view differences between current and published data. It allows you to synchronize data from SmartPlant 3D back to the P&ID, and that was the example that Siegfried was showing. And of course, display the last published attribute value and domains that contain this value. So there are many other areas that we can really focus on and go through, but clearly time is limited.